Yes, I'm going to BlizzCon. I will be there. Not to cast or anything, just to have a good old time. Top right-hand side, our red Protoss player is Zest from Ocean Gaming. Taking on the blue Zerg player in the bottom left-hand side from Triumphant Sun Gaming, Solar. Who's been monstrous as of late. Let's see if we can take down Zest here. Who kind of looked a little bit shaky against Armani the other day. Also against Clem as well, but on the Korean server he looked a little bit better outside of the ping. And, you know, he did just look a bit shaky against Armani, but not terrible. I mean, never forget the 1 or 2 Archons that shut down 8 Broodlords. Even if he ended up losing that game, the micro involved was insane. The problem was a lot of those wins against Armani, a lot of the ways he found advantages and he got to a victory, was because he just kind of won the game off of early aggression, and I don't think Solo will let him do that. Solo's not going to let him do enough harassment damage to just win a game. So, let's get this ready to go. As we get this ready to begin. Slide core. Coming down as you get this ready to go. When did Zest vs Mana happen? At the same time as Solar vs Creator. We'll probably, we're discussing this before, we'll probably be casting that and uploading it to YouTube. But, we're just doing 2 best of 5s at a time at the moment, so it wasn't streamed yet. Obviously, not 2 best of 5s right now in the semi-finals, but for the round of 8, 2 best of 5s at a time, just because otherwise we don't have enough time. Probes just minding away on the natural adept, trolling back and forth as the Twilight Council in the Robo Facility, dropping down, getting that ready to go. It's going to be a Dark Shrine opener, so again the Dark Shrine ready to rumble here. A couple of Zerglings pressing forwards, and we will see just a gateway to drop down in this wall off as well. Swallowing that off, the adept going to chase down the Zergling, and just going to see the Zergling getting picked off. So Zergling going down. It's adept started, but I don't think Zest really wants to build it. He just wants to save his money or that, or yeah, he will build it in the end. But I mean, you kind of want the adept because 2 adepts together can then go running off into a different mineral line and deal some damage while the DTs go another way. Overlord heading in toward the main base, and Zerglings coming down the bottom. Opening more adepts, which I find very interesting. So he warps in 1 more adept, he leaves 1 at home. I suppose that makes sense overall, right? Wants to keep an adept in the wall off. So we'll start to make a few Zerglings against this, a few DTs in production and probes. Starting on up as well as the lair is dropping down, the Rotoron coming into play as well. Let's get all this ready as our DTs will run straight into the 3rd base. It's a nice transfusion on one of the queens there. As now we're going to see that War Prism lifting up and getting out up the left-hand side. 2 adepts will continue on forwards. It's 2 adepts shading into through the center of the map. First Archon will morph in. And Lings are going to go try and get a pick-off on this, but it shouldn't happen. I mean, they're going to get it low, though, which is obviously already painful, right? I mean, this Archon's completely nullified in terms of its shields already, which is really annoying because it takes a long time for Archons to regain their shields because they just have so many of them. So that's actually a really annoying start for Zest as he tries to take a forward 3rd base. He will take this base with the rich Vespian geysers, so we see some Lings out into the center, a couple of Archons pressing towards the 3rd base as well. See Queen getting pushed back already. With a little bit of micro on the War Prism and an Evo Chamber dropping down in the background. More extractors on the way up, extra drones on the way in. Lings are going to get to the upper side of the map here, and they're going to go after these Adepts, going to try and fight their way through this. Adepts still pushing those Lings away over to the side. Archon's able to pick off a Roach or two. And there is Roach speed about halfway done. +1 missile attack coming in on the Evo Chamber in the back of the third base as well. Again, just Immortal being chrono boosted at the moment. Charge on the way up. 3 extra gateways coming into the main, as we do see the Archons in the main will be aggressive again. But overall, Solo's defending this very well. Turning this around and stopping any real aggression from being achieved. I mean, nice trades overall already, right? He did kill 20 Zerglings, but you know, he hasn't really picked off any drones, and Solo's been able to kind of just focus on building drones. And, you know, he's been able to keep that working count high, and I mean, this is the first time I really feel Zest is offsetting Solo from his game plan by getting him supply blocked just slightly. It really feels like that's the real first kind of significant amount of damage Zest gets here. But still nice that Zest has been obviously pretty efficient with this. This is annoying. These Overlord drops into the main. It's just 8 Lings, but instantly 3 probes. Warp in forced. And obviously just units having to run around and come and deal with this is very frustrating. That probe, for whatever reason, ran into this army, which is a shame because there's just one more probe that didn't need to be lost there. As charge finishes, how many gates are we on? Because Zest is moving across the map. 7 gates. 45 workers, that's after he lost 4. So he built a few workers beyond 45. And then kind of obviously lost a few. I mean, Zest is going to be seen coming across this map. This Zergling is going to get into the mineral lines and I mean, sees the army coming. So Solo has a pretty good idea of what's happening, as we do have this army of Zest. And he loses an Archon. That Prism should be there to lift that Archon up. There's no world in which that should be allowed to go down. Not this early on at all. I mean, the Immortals show up now. They're going to be a big part of this. The Archons are nice because they stop the Lings at the front. So you're going to have to warp in a couple more of those, I feel. I mean, you're going to warp in Zealots. But Archons go such a huge way because, again, you get rid of the Lings much faster. A little bit of splash goes a long way while the Immortals then deal with the Roaches. Corrosive Biles will force the sentries to split apart. And again, it's just the Lings that are streaming in are going to make this too much. And Solo just has such a good read on this. I just don't think Solo takes game of lagging. That was very, very weird. What just happened there? Never seen that happen before, actually. Alright, well, let's introduce some players and just hope that nothing is wrong with any connections anywhere. Bottom right-hand side, the blue Zerg player from Triumphant Song Gaming is Sola. Taking on the red Protoss player. To the top left-hand side, it is Zest. Sola vs Zest, game number 2. As we have got a probe already heading down out into the center of the map. Axis Solar. And Zest, so they're both having a bit of lag here. I mean, so was I going into the game. Oh, that's really bad. Is this me dropping down? It might just be my internet dying. Let's just pause this up.
Game paused.
I don't know what's going on. I have like 3,000 ping. There we go. My ping seems to be back to normal, so fingers crossed it will stay that way. So let's just redo the intros, and we're already a minute and a half in. We can just pretend that never happened. In the bottom right-hand side, our blue Zerg from Triumphant Song Gaming is Sola, taking on the red Protoss player Zest in the top left. Sola currently leading this series 1-0. Pylon going to drop down. Zest will get that ready to go, and just continue to build this game up here for the next little while. Third hatchery drops down from Solar. As we'll just be seeing this Nexus in the natural expansion getting going as well, so really nothing too crazy just yet. Nothing crazy just yet, just waiting for this initial expansion play to come up, and obviously open up in towards the tech choices here into the mid game. I mean, Zest loves his Archon drops. Against Armani the other day, he played Archon drop, I think, every game apart from one. And he played a couple of different styles of Archon drop too. So, eyes on what Zest might try and do. I mean, Fast Twilight and Robo again. It's just going to be that Dark Shrine once more. We'll see this time, though, if he is going to go into the Dark Shrine with 3 gateways like he did last game. Or if this time he goes for the more regular 4 gateways. Slight difference between them. We'll find out very shortly. Feelings chasing an Adept, shading out by, but that Adept will not commit. Ooh, Solo's getting aggressive, kept mining gas. He's going to go for Baneling Nest, so actually Solo is the one that's going to get aggressive. I mean, this is such a great build against Zest because his tendency to play no Stargate makes you generically weak against Baneling Burst, because what units will he have when this Baneling Burst happens? Answer, absolutely none. So Adept is shading forwards, doesn't see anything. I mean, Adept shades have very little vision anyways. Dark Shrine on the way up. The issue is DTs, even when they come into play here, they don't necessarily like clean up Zerglings very quickly. If you can get one into an Archon, then maybe, but then you have to keep the Archon alive. And Zest just does not have scouting information on what is about to happen. You can see him shading this Adept out and around, and ooh, okay, he's going to see the Banelings now, so now he knows what's up. Now he can create a secondary wall. He is going to keep the Stalker in the front because he wants that Stalker to tank some damage as well. He'll warp in a Sentry. That's huge because now he can Force Field. And Solar, well, he's going to Force Field to save the Stalker, even to keep the damage going. I mean, now you can warp in a DT across the map maybe, and there's no detection available from Solar, so he's going to take a lot of damage. Hey, Zest is looking good to make this 1-1. This DT comes in, a few Zerglings getting stabbed down. Banelings will finally crash through. Force Field drops, but there is still access. Little mistake here from Zest as the DT. Try and clean up what it can. More DTs warping in. I mean, it needs just one DT across the map, by the way, and this game would be going so much better for Zest instantly. One DT across the map. Zest just needs to find the moment to warp that in. Denies the Baneling coming in at the front. The Lings will continue to be aggressive, and they will break in again. Zest is absolutely making mistakes here. Losing a lot more than he needs to lose in this game. And Sentry's in some trouble now as well. Probes have to fight just to help out with the Lings. And you see DT still fighting. I mean, now Solar's had plenty of time to build a Spore Crawler, so the counter damage that could have been done here by Zest, not going to be done. And that's just because he's let his wall die one too many times, not had a backup to it. Now, that's a real shame. I can understand we're not warping in the DTs initially because there's absolutely a scenario, there's ways he just needed the units at home. But there was also just many times here when he could have minimized further the damage from being done, and he didn't. And now Solar's drawing up, and it's an attack which should have been well held with the Sentry warping, with the Scout going down. An attack which should have been well held is now done a lot of damage, and now you're 10 workers down. What do you do across the map? What do you warp in here? 8 more Lings in production. Tell you what, there's not a lot to actually fight DTs, though. So actually, DTs could still do okay. See the rest of them coming across the map as well. The DTs could do okay if they just ran in and, like, fought whatever was there. Like, Lings on their own aren't great against the DTs. The Queens aren't exactly great fighting units either. So there is some potential here to actually just get in and target down a Spore Crawler. There is no lair. So there's absolutely potential for that. Okay, he's just going to go into Archons. There's a Spore Crawler at the front as well. So that's going to obviously still be aggressive, right? So while he lost a lot of workers, he still has the units. He never lost really any units in the defense, which is actually very impressive. You can see he lost a Stalker and 1 Sentry, which is very impressive when you think about it. So while Solar does get into enough economic damage, how's his rest of his army looking? As you see, this DT is going to hide in the corner away from the Spores. The issue is, I mean, Roach is on the way now, but until now it's just been Lings, so the Archons do very well in this scenario. There's that DT, makes it all the way to the main and will be able to start taking down drones, so Solar's worker advantage is quickly being sliced and diced by this Dark Templar, down to a 1 worker lead or 2 worker lead as another drone finishes. So just gonna see what Zest... Looks like Zest wants to warp in again, but we'll decide not to. Some Lings go across the map. Zest takes the third Nexus. He has got sentries, an Adept, and a Zealot at home to defend. So he shouldn't take too much damage from Zerglings, counter-attacking at all. It's just these Archons which are going to keep on applying pressure, keep Sola's drone count very honest. And that's going to be the question. How much can Sola drone up? Can he get a good economy going in this game? Or what's going to happen? I'm going to sit out to the left-hand side. More Lings coming down. Robo Facility Forge on the way up in the main, and just going to see that Overseer of Solar continue to head up in toward the main base as well. So, getting that set up, getting that going. Roach speed starting here on the Roach Rune. As our Warp Prism will continue to move around. A couple of Creep Tumors picked off. Some decent bits of damage so far. Prism into the main is... Oh, there goes my ping again. If this lags again, guys, we're going to have to leave the game. We don't have really much of a choice. My ping is rising. It's going to lag the game in a moment. Right. I'll leave my webcam up because Bonnie's got his webcam up as well. So, this is just one of those scenarios where we don't have much of a choice other than to just cast from here and see what's going to happen. So, hi. I don't usually cast with the webcam on. I'm going to see a couple Phoenix on the way out. You see the Spires come up from Solar, so he's going in towards Mutalisks. And as he goes up in towards Mutalisks, we're going to see a couple Phoenix on the way out, +1 attack and charge on the way in. And that Dropper Lord going to be moving in towards the main base right now, actually, to try and get some damage done. So, will not be too successful. The Stalker's able to turn this around, and just going to be having the couple of Mutas still flying around. Hallucinated Phoenix will see some of those Mutas flying out into the front, so Zest does get a bit of a heads up. Already has a second Stargate 8 and 2 Phoenix on the way out at a time now. +1 attack and Forge on the way in. Oh, my nose really hurts today. As do you see the Mutas looking to fly into the main? See, probably is having the same lag issues. It's not just me, it's not really my internet, it's absolutely looking to be the Korean server just trying to dick on us, to put it simply. Infestation Pit on the way down, about to finish up here. 5 Corruptors on the way out. So Corruptor's coming in to fight against the Phoenix Can. This is actually a nice little pick off here. Gets a Queen kill. I mean, whenever you can turn these Phoenix into aggressive units after you've made them defensively against Mutalisks, it's really great, right? Because you're going to be able to get a good amount of damage. So you're going to see 5, 6 workers down. So 6 workers killed already here, as we do see +1 attack, +2 attack. The charge upgrade still coming into play. Peeking in a second, a third Stargate, actually. I mean, really high-tech army coming out of Zest here in the next few moments. Setting up in towards the, well, probably in towards Tempest carriers, etc. Getting that ready to roll, so moving into that. As you see our Phoenix moving down the left. See what might happen. Nice little Contaminate that came into play there on the Robo Facility. Well, Zest on 4 bases, Solar's on 5. It kind of feels as though we have, our guys in a position now where, I mean, Solar's going to get maxed out. Remember, the start of this game was a Bane Bust that should have kind of failed, but then Zest messed up some of his continued defense against it. I think it's going to pick off the Queen as the extra Corruptors coming in up the right side. Things running in here. Archon's already able to deal a little bit of damage, so a few Lings going down already. Changelings pressing up to the top. The Phoenix going to get healed up by a couple of shield batteries as well. We do just have the Left-hand side of the map. Mining away at the moment. So it swipes down as Zerglin. So Zerglin will fall. A couple Tempests on the way out. I mean, obviously that's just his preparation for the Great Aspire, which is well on the way in at the moment. So, Great Aspire coming in at the moment here. Getting that ready to go. Getting up in towards Broodlords here very shortly. So Zealot's down the left-hand side. Archon's up on the top. Lings are still streaming in as well, by the way. So a lot of Lings showing up, but... And Zest's army's still kind of scary. A couple force fields will block Zerglings from retreating away. Probes moving around there as our Stalkers, Stargates continue to pump out temps. I mean, Great Aspire is about to complete. Solar needs to clean up some supply before we can actually use the get the Great Aspire going. 5 Broodlords on the way out. So 5 Broodlords coming in, +1 Carapace, for Greenal Glance, all on the way up at the moment, and just going to be seeing our +3 attack get started, blinking a few more Tempests, 5 more Gateways. These few Banelings will not get very far at all, so Solar's attempts to attack not going very far. Honestly, I really like Zest's position because it feels like Zest is in that space now where his army is very good. It's very teched up, and Solar's army, while he's getting a few Broodlords up and running, his army is still a little bit kind of mid-tier tech heavy. And when you have the counter to the Broodlords up so quick, you can do this sort of push into Broodlords, which usually isn't possible. With the Tempest already out, you can get aggressive and kind of force this fight without Solar being able to trade out some of these lower tech units, such as the Roach Ravager or the Ling Bane a bit, to build more Broods. So here we go, force fields across the top side there. You can just see the Tempest picking away at Broods. I mean, even these Phoenix are just diving in on the Broodlords as well. The Archon's leading the charge up the top side. Zest looking like he kind of wants a fight. It's going to be seeing Phoenix still up above. We're going to see Archons pulling back. I'm just going to be seeing the Tempest continue to fire away. So, kind of feels like Zest's army is making this happen. And Solar will not be able to hold on. Like I said, it's a pretty nice timing from Zest, right? I mean, it just comes in at the right sort of time. It hits, because he's so prepared for Broodlords, you can attack into Broodlords, which is something you never really see. The pros in a position where they can get so many Tempests up before the Broodlords are actually out. In the end, Solar's reinforcements might be starting to clean this out. Tempests are firing, Zealots are running in. A couple of our Tempests going in after Lings, after Ravagers. So 2 Tempests still left alive. I mean, that's pretty much all there is. So Solar is somewhat held off this attack, but I mean, Zest just starts to rebuild back at home. Just had a few extra reinforcements showing up, and Zest just streaming units in, was not quite able to close it out. So extra Archons coming along here. I'm going to be trying to move forwards with the rest of this. Now Pommy is dying. Korean server is just killing everybody, guys. I don't know what to tell you. It's just not anybody's friend at the moment. It's actually been a long time since the Korean server's been real bad like this, actually. Army from Zest gonna go towards the right. Spines are relocating. I mean, Zest's army, so here's the issue for Solar. He's gotten some infestors up. Researcher Neuroparasite. I mean, I guess it's kind of... I guess he might kind of survive. He has no Broodlords now, which I don't think is a mistake necessarily, because, you know, there's so many Tempests, the amount of Broods you can get up are just going to die so fast. So it's going to be seeing the extra Tempest still coming into play. Archon's hanging out on the right-hand side, and we're just going to be seeing a couple more Tempers coming down to the lower bottom side of this here. This Pommy was about to get out of there. The lag spikes are just insane on Korea. I actually don't know what we can do about this, guys. This is really a shame. You might, if this just continues, we might just have to start up the other series and just leave Zest and Soul to play it out. Which would really suck. That would really be a shame, but... I mean, if there's no other option, there's no other option, you know? Play on Singapore, the NA server. I'm not going to make the players play with lag, just because the cast isn't working. We hear from Zest coming over the right side. We do have the push in towards the right-hand base starting. Nice fungal growth. That's the issue for Zest. Oh, nice neural parasite as well. You know what the issue with that neural is? For whatever reason, the Tempest just don't have vision, so they can't actually just shoot down the infestors. Neurals like that are very difficult to deal with as Solar maxes out against Zest, who's just been positioned so aggressively for so long. Zest has a lot of units running down in the bottom side, some Zealots, I believe. Archon's leading the charge here, and a couple of shots going down. Fungal growth lands on the Tempest. Ooh, mass neural on the Tempest. Oh, Zest has just lost his entire army. Well, as neural parasites land on pretty much everything the Protoss owns, Zest will have to type out GG and do Zest Solar. Game number 3. Match point for our blue Zerg in the bottom right side. Solar up against the red Protoss top left Zest. So yeah, third, potentially final game if Solar picks up the win. And then maybe we can just pray that we end up on the American server for the rest of the day. Save us a little bit from all of the latency issues or lag issues. And you can see right now, like, our ping is fine. The game is running smoothly, but... well, we'll see what happens. Remember, after this, Euthermal Harsum is what we're going to cast next. It'll also be Bly Hurricane. Bly Hurricane will probably be broadcast on the Russian stream. Drone nibbling and fighting a probe a little bit. Spawn pool. 2 hatches on the way up, so still pretty fast onto the 3rd hatchery this time around. As you see, the drone just chased a probe up over toward the natural and the hatchery. Again, dropping down in location there. Just going to be seeing the queen on the way out. A couple lings, a couple queens. Building at the moment. Nexus dropping down on the nat. Warp gate starting up, and there's a couple lings go jumping in towards the probe. We'll start to get some damage done. Robot facility coming down to follow the Twilight. Solo's making a Bane nest again, so looks like he wants to get aggressive for a 2nd time in a row. I mean, that's once again a very early Baneling nest here. Very early Baneling Nest in these early stages we do see. Ling moving around. 14 more Lings on the way up. The Baneling Nest going to finish soon, and Solar is coming up to the top side of the map. Dark Shrine on the way again. Typically, this is not a good opener for this, and, well, I have absolutely zero idea what this wall is. This is almost like this wall is baiting the Baneling burst. Now we see the Baneling's going to come down. He's going to secondary wall the top, but there's still a pylon defense on the bottom. What on earth is this from Zest? I mean, I'm not surprised if this is just a reactionary kind of Baneling burst from Solar, because he sort of sees the wall off. We'll see the first Banes going to get force fielder away there. Fueling's already hitting the bottom. Chrono Boost consistently on this warp gate because he knows he needs the next sentry warp in sooner rather than later. Hey, this pylon is actually a real weak spot here, because if the Lings get through, the Banes can still burst around the other side. Some units getting to the top. Ooh, force field is clutch. One Baneling surviving, goes in, deals a bit more damage. Still Chrono Boost in the one warp gate he has in play. This warp gate I don't think will finish in time to warp anything in. Next sentry is up and running though, so now Zest should be able to force field and defend. Ling's still running forwards. Extra Bane's morphing in on the right hand side. Zest's army supply is struggling, but he has the sentries to shut this down. Good force field again. More Zerglings getting picked off here. Forces dropping down all over the place. Another warp gate morphing in right now. Baneling's poking around at the front. Another gateway. The back gets busted down. The next round of Zerglings is so far away though. Zest pulls the probes. Maybe we didn't need to pull them so far forwards. The thing is, as long as Zest keeps holding the wall off, this game's not terrible for him, but he needs to wall off here, and a couple Lings will slip by. He's finally got DTs up to help defend. He loses his sentries. The probes will be pulled to try and keep the Lings from getting in. This is kind of what happened last time as well, only this seems a little bit more concerning even. Oh my god, that DT is a hero. He's even blown up the Banelings and taking the damage on himself. Oh my god, DTs are real heroes. No second thoughts at all as they just see probes retreating to the main base. Extra warp-ins over there. There's enough gateways up now though to properly shut this down. And Solar is only just starting to drone, so drone's only just now starting to really come online. It means he does have a few more Lings that will slip into this main base. And he is finally starting to get some probe kills. 13, 14, 15 probes down. So 15 probes killed off. We're going to be seeing these Zerglings of Solar back up to the top and looking for a way in. Dark Templar warps in. At the front as well. Spore Crawler building. 2 more drones on the way out. A Queen on the natural. Ling's still just having a bit of a run around as Dark Templar will make their way to this natural expansion here. I mean, this is going to be a dead Spore Crawler, so suddenly no detection on the natural at all. Still a type GG. It's kind of what Zest game number 4. Sorry, I was having all the issues with numbers there. Top left hand side, our red Zerg is Solar. In the bottom right, our blue Protoss is Zest. Here on Thunderbird, we are set up to potentially see a bit of a longer game. I really felt like Zest had that game number 2 as well for a while. Like, Solar's defense against that attack was quite impressive to be able to hold off what was really feeling like a death army, especially once the Broodlords went down. Zest made some mistakes once the Infestors were up. The Neural Parasites really ending the game. I think just missing Storm was a big part of that as well. When so many Infestors were up, feedbacks and Storm go a long way to helping zone those out, etc. Drone gonna go jumping onto the probe as he's gonna nail does some damage Spawn pool on the way up. Pylon from Zest in the main. And will Zest go for an Archon drop-based opener for the 4th time in a row? He's done it every single game so far. Has been kind of punished for it here and there, though nothing too crazy. Tap's going to be shading out from Zest into the center of the map, so moving into the middle here, we do have Twilight Council on the way up from Zest in the main. See, Dev continues to run on forwards. Twilight Council going to be finishing soon. There's Zergling Speed coming up on that spawn pool. 3rd hatchery. Finishes from Solar, and there's our Robo. And here comes the Dark Shrine. Archon drop. Coming down once again. Nice, real fast 3rd hatchery here, so getting that up and running very early on. The robotics facility about halfway done. The Dark Shrine starting in the main base as well. And here comes our Overlord coming down the bottom side, heading across. Look to see what will happen here. 8 drones currently in production. Robot facility about to complete. 3 gateways dropping down from Zest as well. Here comes Solar just continuing down towards the natural in the next couple of moments. So then he's going to start hitting at the front. Cybercore will be taking some damage. As extra gateways continue to build, we do see the Dark Shrine is really just moments away from finishing up here. So getting set up into this as we have our lair now starting. 6 more drones, 2 more Spore Crawlers in production as well. All of this setting up from a Solar right now. Zest just an observer starting up as well. Getting that ready to go. These few Zerglings of Solar are going to go nibbling Cybernetics core here. Cybercore taking quite a bit of damage. There goes the Warp Prism from Zest all the way up to the top side of the map. So we'll be setting that up into warping mode. Our 4 Dark Templar warping currently. So again, those 4 DTs underway. A couple Archons morphing in. Extra drones coming out. Lair, Rochoran. We'll finishing up in a moment or two as our Archons left into the prism and gonna get ready to unload and press towards the 3rd base. So here we go. Already this Overlord taking quite a bit of damage. Will go down, and Queens taking some shots as well. Zerglings taking some extra damage too. Archon's loading back up and moving away up the top side. We see the Spire now the choice from Solar. So he's going to go in towards Mutalisks here pretty quickly, and obviously one of the big parts of this is trying to figure out what's going on. Excuse me. As War Prism comes over to the left-hand side. So War Prism moving all the way over to the left. Spire dropping down. You're going to be finishing on the natural very shortly. So Archon's load up from the Zest and going to be pulling away down that left-hand side. Spire on the way from Solar and the natural. Drones, plenty of drones on the way up. Roach speed about halfway done. More Mutalisks on the way out. Cannons coming in. War Prism coming back down the bottom right-hand side. So there's a couple of Archons just setting up. We're going to be seeing Solar with the Mutalisks on the way down. Cannons are building, so Zest has figured out the Spire is there. It's too late to respond with a Stargate, and it looks like he just wants to sort of deal with this by cannons and defending, and then maybe a counterattack push to try and, you know, if you don't take too much damage, then you can counter. You can get a lot done. So let's see what happens here. War Prism patrolling backwards and forwards here. The natural Zergling gets picked off and going to be seeing +1 attack, charge upgrade. Both of those on the way in. 5 extra gates on the way down here now as well from Zest. Extra Zergling gets picked off. Stalker's able to come forwards, and in the bottom left-hand corner, the Mutalisk flying around as well. So that's going to continue down this bottom side and going in towards the third base in the next few moments. Cannon shots going down. Archon's going to go chasing down the Mutalisk. Mutalisk will fall. As the Mutalisk goes down, I mean, there's a couple of the Mutas around. Only a couple, though. I mean, Scylla really didn't make that many. He kind of backed away from that. Which for Zest is kind of nice, right? Because he wasn't really super committed to the Mutas, to defending Mutas. Is the right decision from Solar, because Zest kind of was expecting to see like 6 or 7 Mutas here, and his defense was suitable for that. 2 or 3 Mutas, and well, you know, the defense is still nice to have, but maybe it's a little bit wasted. But obviously, at the same time, you don't have to deal with Mutalisk, right? So Zest, it's not like he threw down double Stargate and then 3 Mutas showed up. So he's quite happy with this overall. I think both players are quite happy with what's currently been happening in this game number 4. Wings and Banes on the way up, Storm on the way down. Extra Stargates keep on dropping in from Zest as well. Some multiple Stargates over in the main. I mean, he was so quick to get to the Tempest in game number 2 that he had Tempest out in order to be able to push as the first Broodlords popped, and that was such a powerful timing from Zest. It puts you in such a good position when you're able to do that. Ravager is dancing in amongst those morphing banelings. We've seen some cannons, shield batteries sent up over on the right hand side. Mutalisk in the main base, picking away to Stargate, and we've seen the 2 Archons from the War Prism flying down to the bottom side. Creep spreading out all over the place here, and Hatchery on the right. Next to Hatch going down. Great Spy about halfway done. Adrenal Glands getting set up as well. 3 carriers on the way in. 3 carriers on the way up. Ling is able to take down some rocks. The extra Banelings morphing. These couple of storms are very preemptive. Not sure they were really meant to happen at all. There's some storms on some Banes on the bottom. Good pullback from Solar. Keeps Banes alive. Keeping Banes alive after a storm is really nice. Those are good storms, though. Really taking down a lot of the Banes, zoning them out. Blings are going to make it to the mineral line here. Do we have any more storms? Not really. There's just so many Banelings here from Solar. As he comes crashing in with all of this, we're going to be seeing 14 probes down. Banes still crashing in. Ravagers dropping some corrosive vials as well. I mean, in the end, the last few units from Solar really kind of die off. I mean, when you run out of Banelings, this army really loses a lot of its power. The important thing to remember is Zest holds this attack while building into carriers. So Zest's army comp is getting a lot better over time here. So defending an attack like this while not really taking any damage at all is perfect. It was a bit scary when he ran out of storms, but he was able to make it work. Extra Banelings on the way up on the right-hand side. Lings will find the Nexus on the right. Pylon will go down as well. 3 more carriers on the way out. Extra Banelings going to finish morphing in from Solar, and the Ling Bane army goes spreading around a little bit. There's a bunch more Banes setting up on the right, going to start pressing forwards. Perhaps these Archons, well, these Archons are generally meant to deal pretty well with attacks like this, but they were kind of a little bit clumped up. You can see they do somewhat survive though, and it feels like Zest is going to start cleaning up these Corruptors now. I mean, Zergling's running in. Well, there's extra Banelings. Maybe they can change this up. A couple of carriers are surviving. This one just survives on low HP. Again, the Banelings are going to get some of the probes, but that's going to be about it. Nice save on some probes. Some others will go down, though. 14 probes lost, but Zest again holds. Has money in the bank, Zest. If he could spend that money, this would obviously go pretty well for him. That'd be a real Game change, actually. It's going to be seen on Nexus. Still standing up there alive and strong. More Corruptors and Carriers on the way out. It really feels like Zest has this game under control because, I mean, his work account's kind of low, but he's up in army. He spent that bank. So I guess Solar's economy is pretty crazy, but he's still just spending it on Mauling Bane. Solar is still just trying to win this game with burst after burst, and that won't work if all of these carriers are able to fight that Ling Bane army. Like, it just isn't going to work. There's so many carriers now that these bursts are going to become less and less effective, and that's really going to become a problem here. Here we go, as Bane's coming in, the Interceptors already getting to work on the Corruptors. The Queens come in for some transfusions. First carrier will go down. Now the Archon's able to get underneath the Corruptors, though that will chase those away, and again, it's another... Each of these holds just gets more and more confident, and easier for Zest. Zest holds with ease this time around, and again, even more carriers joining the fray. Solar has been very eager to end this game, but unfortunately, his eagerness to shut this down and to shut it down, stop it, is more or less bringing this entire game to an end now. Just a couple of Broodlords in the sky. I mean, Broods. The thing is, there's a good counter to Broods. What are 3 Broodlords really going to change? Maybe to slow down a bit of the ground army. Broodlings will take a bit of focus instead of, you know, Archons being able to get right underneath the Corruptors. But again, there's so many carriers now. That's my issue, just what do you do against these carriers? I mean, Solar starts Infestor's Pathogen Glands upgrade. It's got to be, you imagine, his better choice to try and get Infestors out here, but even that, I'm not convinced is going to go, like, amazingly well for him. I don't think it's going to be, like, super crazy good. Things hanging out on the top right-hand side. More carriers in production. They're going to be completing shortly as we'll come up to the rest of these carriers here. Pylon's dropping down. Ling is going to get a little surround on this Nexus, which will end up being cancelled. +2 flyer attacks on the Great Aspire as well. Just going to be seeing some Zealots go charging in after some of these Zerglings. 6 more Zealots on the way up. 7 Infestors on the way out. Couple shield batteries building. 4 more cannons as well. Those carriers still moving backwards and forwards, and Lings and Banes of Solar out over the right-hand side. All the way around the right, going to go in, and Zod's able to push up for a bit of a surround. 2 Infestors on the way up. A couple of Broodlords as well. More carriers still in production here. As that Interceptor will go flying forwards. Archon's going to be able to pick off a bit more creep spread. So army of Zest pulling back down to the lower right side here. Baneling's up to the top, and Zerglings of Solar still pressing forwards, looking to push through. Carriers coming forwards, and the Archons will be able to push those Lings back. Out into the middle here. +3 air weapons on the way in. Lings are pulling to the top left-hand side, and they're going to be able to work their way through these rocks. Rock's taking quite a lot of damage. Mothership being chrono boosted out here. Bunch of Spore Crawlers heading forwards, and they're going to get burrowed up to be able to set up in the center of the map. Still, all of these carriers, Archons, etc. on the right-hand side. And these Lings down the bottom are setting up as well. The ship on the way out, still chrono boosting here. Lings heading towards the natural wall off. Interceptors are firing and able to get some cleanups there, as we're going to be seeing Broodlords into the center of the map. Some extra spores dropping down. We've not really had any aggression here for the last few moments. I mean, how do you get aggressive into this amount of carriers? You kind of don't, and that's why Solo just sort of sits back and builds up Infested Brood. Don't know how good that composition can be. As Zest's going to take the central base, Solo's already taking the central one. Rich Vespine Geysers available in these middle bases. Means they mine out nice and quickly. Oracle's added in, the Revelations on top of the armies go well. Along with this is... I mean, this is one of those scenarios where you're just looking for a nice late game fight, and in this fight, well, Zest just has to try and shut down Infestors as fast as possible, stop Neurals from being effective for an overly long amount of time. Just no, okay, there's a few High Templar Storms available under here. See, I feel like right now these High Templar should be forwards and dropping Storms on these Infestors to kill off the ones that are Neural. Because these two Archons, this Oracle, they just get picked off for free. You know, these are just given up because Zest wanders forwards. So Neural Parasite's very efficient here so far. Noctis Cavern finishing from Solar in a moment. Still carriers in the right-hand side. And they're going to supply some Interceptors forwards. A couple Queens going down. Spore Crawlers being picked away at as well. Interceptors get back to the carriers there. Lings on production. +2 missile attack coming in as well. More carriers on the way out. +3 shields coming down on our forge. So a couple of Oracles. Seeing what they can do there. Go our carriers, throwing Interceptors forwards into this again. Spore's already taking quite a lot of damage, and these carriers having a pretty good time with this. We've seen a couple of units getting picked off. There goes an Infestor knocked down also. +2 missile attack upgrade on the Evo Chamber coming into play. Lings are from Solo still pressing forward. Zealot is holding at the front for the moment as well. And going into the 20-minute marker of this best of 5. Game number 4. We might have a fight about to break out. These Interceptors get quite a lot done this time around, clean out a log stack defense and abduct on the mothership. Zest is having to run away. He's going to lose a High Templar. No Storm dropped from it. This one carrier getting caught a little bit as well. There's more Neurals coming down. Big Fungal on the carriers. The Brutal ones have gotten rid of the High Templar. I think Solo is just going to overrun this army in the next few moments. More Neurals on carriers. I've got no idea what's going on. Do you guys know what's going on? I've got no clue. There's just carriers and Interceptors all over the place. And Infested Terrans dropping down. I don't even know if Zest knows what's going on, to be honest. We have a bunch more Infested Terrans dropping into play, but the carriers are going to start making their escape. Stalkers try to show up to sort of save the day as well. And recovering games takes a long time when you're 20+ minutes in. Pay for me a BlizzCon ticket and I'll come and say hi. I actually, if anyone does need a BlizzCon ticket, I have a spare BlizzCon ticket I'm looking to sell. So by the off chance anyone lives in like California near Anaheim and they want to go to BlizzCon but they don't have a ticket, let me know. I can actually sell you a ticket. I would love to, because otherwise it's just going to go to waste. Prizes for this stream should be called rewardees. Orodruin, you're about 4 years late with this joke. You can also call them awardees. We've had it all. We've had this joke many a times. And then we go like we have 4 wardies and stuff as well. All right, guys, we're gonna resume. Solar still leads the series 2-1. And as mentioned, we resume from the point we get left the game at, so nothing really changed. Zest is still looking good. His bank is large. Solar just remade a lot of Infested Terrans, which he traded terribly overall. Probably because he couldn't get his Infested Terrans to cast for a long time, so obviously that is a major issue, as we're going to be seeing the carriers down the right. A couple of Zerglings are going after a probe. Banelings from Solar will morph in over on the left-hand side as well here. It's not very often you see a game on Thunderbird where both players are mining pretty comfortably from the central bases. So it's a little bit unique, as a couple of Storms are just going to be given up. They got a Spine Crawler in the process, I guess. 3 Oracles on the way out from Zest. I mean, them Revelations, huge for kind of seeing what's going on. A massive Infestors here. A massive Infestors. As our army is set up on the right-hand side from Zest. +3 missiles, +2 carapace on the evolution chambers. +1 air armor on the cybernetics cores. We're going to be seeing a couple of Zerglings. They're going to go running over this right-hand side. Straight up push to the top just kills this army. I mean, when you can just kind of wander from your base up here, that base is never going to survive. So we'll start taking the bottom left sides. Problem is, Solo needs some super good trades now to make up for what he's lost already. He needs some really good trades. He is down quite heavily in terms of bank. We have a couple of Lings and so on running by, and Ultra as well. We're going to actually burrow until the DTs leave. Nidus in the main moves, this sort of harassment that opens up opportunities. He's going to deny this mining base with the Banelings for the moment. That's nicely done. This Nidus has Infestors inside, and Infestors will drop a bunch of Infested Terrans, burrow up, and we'll be able to jump back into that Nidus as well. So I'm going to do pretty okay here as, again, just annoying harassment going on at the moment. It's a little bit of annoyance going on at the moment. As we do see TTs picking off an Ultralisk so far. Zergling here from Solo is going to pick off the pylon. Infested Terran still firing away, and Gateway is continuing to go down. Here comes our army pressing forwards. A fungal growth on some of the interceptors. A little bit of some harassment in zone on Nice No, but again, Solo kind of feels like he needs more. If he can maybe deny Zest these upper bases, he can somewhat come back in the game if he mines down here himself. Builds a Nidus in range of a cannon, that's not going to go too well. Revelation tags the edge of the Infestable. +3 missile upgrade coming in, +3 melee, +2 flight carapace. Now this network is going to be popping up in a moment or so for Solo on the top right-hand side, and we'll be seeing that popping next Nidus on the way up as well. Some Infestors down the right-hand side. Go carriers. Starting to fight on in. Spores taking a little bit of damage already. Fungal growth will land on the Archon and the Oracle. Actually, Neo Parasite's the Oracle. The Archon. The Storm actually misses the Infestor. It's so annoying. Like, you just can't reach that Infestor safely. I'm really looking towards a fight here. Zest losing probes around the map, by the way. Infested Terrans are going to deny this base, perhaps? I don't think they'll actually kill the base, but Weathership shows up to cloak it. I mean, just Nidus around the map make this very difficult. So Zest has a bank, but Zest doesn't really have many mining bases left. Like, this base here, about 1,000 gas left on it. This base here is obviously pretty healthy if you can mine from it properly. This base mined out. This base mined out. Yeah, Zest doesn't have much of a bank left, whereas Solo is mining quite comfortably around the map, and that might just make the difference here. Oracle drops the Revelation. Carrier's still in the center, gonna see Shadow Stride coming up on the Dark Shrine. DT Blink being made, even a couple of Void Rays on the way up. Man, Zest is not mining from this base. He really needs to get probes over there, and he does send them now, especially just for the gas. He has so many minerals in comparison to his gas count. Another Revelation drops down. So yeah, you know, obviously, Zest bank for the moment is fine, but you need to keep mining and keep that bank going. Otherwise, you're in trouble. And if you only ever mine from these bases, that might be Solo's way back into this game. Fungal Groves are going to land on Interceptors here, which are going to get caught up pretty heavily, actually. A Storm coming down to try and zone. Oh, nice Fungal Grove. Reveals a lot of the army from the Mothership, and means that you can actually pick up a kill on a couple of High Templar. Infestors in the front there getting taken down. It's expensive rebuilds from Solo. Parasitic bombs in amongst all of this, and I don't think Zest is able to micro against it. Oh my god, some of the Void Rays here are super low HP. Infested Terrans dropping down. Neurals are dropping when they can as well. Infested Terrans are doing a lot. The Interceptor count is getting kind of low. The problem is if the Interceptors run out or kind of go down here, then obviously the carriers don't really do any damage, so Solo will be able to keep on fighting. Infested Terrans, as all of the carriers do go down, Infested Terrans just fighting against brand new Interceptors. Both players lose a lot of their units here. 44 Infestors have died this game alongside 10 carriers. It's been a lot of kills on either side. Zest rebuilding his Interceptors. Solo building more Infestors. Another Ultra, a few more Zerglings, keeping those harassing units around, keeping those up and running. The Broodlings dropping down on toward the Zealots. Army from Zest to the right, still up and running as well. Gonna see the Viper consuming up some energy. Gonna be max on energy in a moment. It's super low HP. It's gonna have to get spells off real quick. I really feel the Parasite Bombs did a lot in this fight to help out. Zest is gonna opt for more Void Rays, but the thing is here, Solar is just sat back waiting for his Infestors to regather energy. As energy comes back up, this looks very good for him. I'm going to see a couple creep tumors will spread out over the right-hand side. Carrier's still just hanging out on the right and just going to be seeing an Nexus here, at least getting mining, right? I'm going to see an attempt to expand up here from Zest. The fact Zola's mining comfortably on the bottom left is... It's very rare you see Thunderbird split map, left versus right. It's usually kind of like upper left versus bottom right, and then this sort of base gets taken by Pros, this base by Zerg. But it's a bit of a different split to what we usually see in these split map scenarios on Thunderbird. It's a little bit different, a little bit funky. 3 Void Rays currently producing, going to be aiming towards that Overseer. Approaching the 30-minute marker in this game. Couple of cannons firing, Zerglin gets taken down. Army here from Zest moving around a little bit as well. Zealots will go charging in towards this hatchery, which is going to drop down pretty quickly here as well, seemingly so. So that hatchery will go down, Broodlings being picked off. So third hatch falls, Zerglings up to the top side. Have the Zerglings over here as well. Dark Templar pops out. Then I'm going to connect in on a few Zealots. I mean, just annoying Zealots kind of harassing around. Zest's bank still staying around the same on gas. The minerals have dropped a bit. Solar is bankless. He's just been able to remax now. Just his only 175 supplies, so his bank is not exactly fully true because he still can use some of that bank to rebuild at the moment. Just the question is, what will he rebuild? Another round of Zealots might not be bad to try and harass somewhere. Again, he's got more minerals than gas at the moment. Army moves forwards, a bunch of creep tumors go down instantly, and well, good start to this. DTs show up on the bottom side, and Spine Crawler will poke its way through the DTs, but not for long. Need some units down here, and the Zerglings will come to respond, so just that pylon's going to make this base very difficult to defend, right? I mean, you can warp in on this side of the minerals time and time again. It should not really be a base Solar should ever truly, properly mine from, but he will try it. I mean, he leaves some units down there. Well, Zest is pushing forwards, looking for a fight again. A couple of Interceptors going down. Mothership is going to go for the Time Warp. He's going to come up. He brings the Mothership in with the Neural Parasite. He's going to target that down pretty quickly. Big Parasite Bomb and Fungal Growth combo. That might just kill everything. The Void Rays are all going to go down. Oh my god, the supply is just going to drop dramatically. Zest will lose everything. Solar will take this series 3-1 and move through.